talk about real estate. We're here to talk about leads, getting clients, making some money, right? Helping some people. That's why we're here. Do you have any questions? Anything you want me to answer? Any specific situation you're dealing with, lead generation or prospecting or marketing or presentation or anything, just post it in the comments. I'll check it out. I'll answer them for you. Free coaching, free contribution from your coach, Borino. I apologize, I missed you. We were traveling after that, after the Unleash the Power Within. We went to Napa, my very first time. I know, I'm a wine connoisseur. What the hell was I waiting for? I don't know why I always thought Napa would be kind of a little pretentious, you know, expensive and little like, no, hoity-toity. It wasn't. It was awesome. We had a wonderful time, met some lovely people. That was an interesting thing. There is an old story, and the first time I heard it was from Earl Nightingale, but I'm sure it goes way back, probably to the good old book, all the way back there. But the story is about a man who is traveling, and he comes to the edge of a town. And there's an old gentleman, old guy, sitting on the edge of the town. And the traveler turns to him and asks, what kind of people live in this town? What kind of folk live here? And the old man kind of looks at him and says, well, what kind of people lived in the town where you're coming from? And he says, oh, they were very friendly, very nice. And the old man responds, that's exactly who lives here. And then the man walks through the town and sure enough meets very nice, very friendly people. Keeps traveling, walks on the edge of the next town where there's a similar old man sitting there, coincidentally, and asks him, what kind of folk live here? What do you think the old man would say? Yeah, exactly. Whoever you encounter is who you're going to encounter. So here's the parallel, here's the metaphor of this story. Your expectations and your past experiences that you combine will create your future experience. And I know this sounds a little bit new age, airy-fairy, but think about it. If you expect success, if you expect, yes, people will pick up the phone and they will talk to me, of course, because they need my help. If you expect people to be nice to you, people to be motivated, to be kind, you will be shocked how many of those you're going to encounter. On the other hand, if your beliefs are people are assholes, there's a lot of competition, it's hard to get listings, and if I get a listing, the sellers will probably want to overprice it and it's going to be hard to bring them down, there's not enough business out there, there's not enough money, you're going to encounter plenty of that. And I don't even pretend to know how the dynamic of it works. But I assure you, from my experience and probably thousands of others and you guys watching it, you already know I'm onto something here, right? Would you agree with that? If you want to make a change, whether it's to make more money, help more clients, break into a new market, or finally get going and pick up the number of listings you want and close the number of transactions you want to close, always start with the mindset and your expectations. That's the foundation. Because if you're going in thinking it's going to be hard, and they're not going to like me, and they're going to probably pick another agent because he's charging less, you're going to attract a lot of that. You cannot have a different experience from your expectations and your beliefs. It's impossible. It's not set up that way. Does it make sense? Does that kind of feel like, yeah, that's been my story. So to make a dramatic change, yes, it's good to know the market, and it's good to prospect, and it's good to role play, and it's good to master communication, and it's good to know what you want. But evaluate what beliefs do really govern your behavior, your attitudes, your emotions, and your actions. And if they're not aligned, guess what? Your subconscious will always win. That's where the power is. That's where the engine is that's driving it. So start reprogramming. The good news is just like you got to that point and got those beliefs and got those expectations, you can change them. We all have the power to change them. That's the beautiful thing. You have the freedom to decide. From now on, I expect good people, good money, plenty of transactions, and a good lifestyle. Now, you may be thinking, well, okay, cool. I did that last week, and I'm still not rich. I'm still not driving my Bentley. What the fuck? Why is that? There's this little thing called momentum. See, what happens is if you constantly feed attention and focus and energy and belief in one direction, and then one day you wake up and you say, fuck it, enough. I am a rock star, I want to succeed, I'm going to make some changes. You have a momentum built into going in one direction, which is lack, poverty, not enough, difficult, and struggle. And great, and I applaud you that you want to make changes and you start shifting. But because of the momentum, have you been to like a big port, you know, those giant ships, those big transporters, the oil tankers, those huge ones? They need 2 to 3 miles to stop and change direction. It's not like those little nimble boats. If you have a massive momentum and if you worked on it for years and years and years through cultural programming, social media, parents, friends, books, movies, all that stuff, it's going to take a while, just like that big ship, that big tanker, to redirect itself. So don't freak out, don't doubt yourself. You're doing the right thing, you're on the right path, you're on the right track. It's just going to take a little repetition and a little reset focus to start going in a different direction. That's all it takes. Trust yourself. You got this. And the reason I know you got this is because all you need is look at the evidence around you. Look at the posts right here in Rockstars. How many people are succeeding? How many people are crushing it? Getting listings, working with clients, doing all that stuff. Now, yes, your monkey voice will tell you, yeah, but he's this, he's more handsome, and he's 6 foot tall, and he's 25, and she's more this, she's more that. Don't buy into that noise. That's just your little monkey freaking out over change. It hates change. The monkey brain, the chatty-patty monkey, is trying to protect you from discomfort that usually comes from changes like this. So trust the process, keep going in a new direction, and trust that you're going to build enough momentum in that new direction to get you to where you want to go. Cool? All right. So, Kara says, just got my Expired Plus book with golden ticket question. Page 96 references letters, the Russian Mafia, Henry Walls, etc. Where are those? Those are in the download section, Kara. The part of the Expired Plus system, and if you don't have it, you want to do Expireds, what Kara is talking about, she's part of my Path. Path is a program where I work with you on your business to get you up to 1 listing a week. So we're going to work together. If you want to check it out, go to goborino.com. As part of that, you're going to get a golden ticket from me where you can pick up any of my systems for free. You're going to get all of them in a sequence, but if you want to jump ahead. What you're going to get is something in the mail. A package will come in the mail, usually with a book, with a workbook, with some materials, and the rest of it will be available online. So you're going to get an email saying, hey, you can access this stuff right here. So there's a link there. There you have the downloads, you have the marketing materials. I have one for expireds, I have one for sale by owners, I have one for referrals, I have one for how to do real estate videos. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can get with the Path. If you're not on Path, give it a try. Come on board just for 30 days. If you don't like it, if you don't feel like it's really good for you, or if you don't feel like I can help you, you get your money back right away. We have everything backed up, 100% money back guaranteed the first 30 days. Then if you don't like it, there's no long-term contract either. It's only $197 a month. I have a special deal right now because I want to help and the spring market is here and I know you want to get going. So go check it out. And that concludes my huge sales pitch for the Path. The URL is goborino.com. Check it out. There's a little video that explains what you get, when you get it, how it works, and all that. I think it's a pretty cool program, and we have a whole bunch of people doing pretty well on it already. So I'd love for you to be the next success story. All right. Cool. Yeah, Ken says, I am not 6 feet tall or 25. Yeah, well, isn't it amazing how the monkey brain just can come up with all kinds of crazy stories? Absolutely funny. All right. Hey, Mr. Derek, how are you doing, my man? Hey, Amadeep, can you again repeat the name of the book? The name of the book is Awaken the Giant Within by Tony Robbins. Great book. All right. Okay, let me tell you about the necklace. You might find that interesting. I picked this up at the last Tony Robbins event. I bought one. And it is called the Intention Necklace. Now, this is just a prop. It's a tool. You can do this with bracelets. As you know, I love to wear bracelets, and each one has a very different meaning. This is the latest one I got from my brother. Thanks, Mario. Appreciate it very, very much. So you can do this with anything. With, oh shit, I'm not wearing my wedding ring. I'm gonna get shit from my wife because a couple of days ago she walked out in the morning, forgot to put her wedding ring on, and I was giving her shit all day long, texting her, calling her, hey, are you single? Are you available? And I forgot. Oh man, I hope she's not watching this or watch it on replay. Please don't tell on me. Anyway, here's the necklace. The purpose of the necklace is for you in the morning, and the way I use it is to set an intention. So what I do is, after I take a shower, I get dressed, I take the necklace, I close my eyes, take a nice deep breath, get centered, kind of tune out the noise that normally we have around the house with, 2 kids, wife, and a cat. And just set an intention, what do I want to accomplish today? And it's not as much about a goal, although you can set a very specific goal, but how do you want the day to feel like when you're done? What would you like to, or what would I like to experience looking back at it? Like if it's, let's say, 6 o'clock in the evening and I look back, What does it feel like? Like today, one of my intentions was to connect with you and to inspire you and to help you. So I just pause, I hold the necklace, I put the intention out there to the universe, and I feel this sense of gratitude because I trust the universe and I know that if I serve and if I deliver and if I play my part, the rest will be taken care of. And I will take care of you guys because that's my purpose, to help you and inspire you and guide you. And then maybe I'll set one or two personal things, like today my thing was to have a good workout. And I put the necklace on and I feel gratitude. It's only like 30 seconds to a minute. Then I go off with the day. I don't have to think about it. But what I do throughout the day, especially on certain occasions that call for it, I just kind of gently touch it to remind myself. So that's how I use it. Now you can do it with anything. You're going to buy a Tony Robbins necklace. You can do it with anything. It's the ritual. It is the beliefs behind the ritual, and it is that specific focus on something specific that you want to get out of that day, something you can control. Now, if you go out and say, today I want to list 3 properties, I'm not against being positive. I'm not against being ambitious. I just believe that rather than setting out something like that, set something that you can control, something that's easily attainable. And I don't mean easily in terms of like set goals too low, but something where the outcome does not depend on other factors. See, whether I feel gratitude, whether I feel satisfied, whether I feel like I delivered my contribution, contributed to you, inspired you, I control. Whether I will take on a specific day 3 listings, I don't have a direct control over. But whether I feel like I had a good productive day, I did something worthwhile, I connected with some people, I inspired someone, I helped someone, I do control. I made somebody smile. Something, that's all you need. You know what I mean? So be careful what specific intentions you set out. You can't really get it wrong. I just don't want you to feel like, well, shit, I put the magic necklace on, I visualized 3 listings, I feel grateful for 3 listings. Where are the fucking 3 listings? I didn't get them. That's not how it works. Are you getting me? I'm sure you're getting me. You understand what I'm saying. Just making sure. All right. Let's see what we got. If we can answer some questions from you guys. Hey, Dominic, Mr. Dominic Zimmer, checking in from Boise. Maka, she was there at the Tony Robbins with us. That was really good. Good morning to you as well. All right. Chad has a question. Let me show you what Chad is asking. Mark makes a comment, Core Influence is a great program to get your mind on track. I've been having deals falling apart left and right lately, but I keep going. Yeah, sometimes it happens. Sometimes that happens. It's a crazy business. And sometimes you can do something about it, and sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can prevent it or fix it, and sometimes you can't. But you know the Borino rule, right? Do the best you can. Now, what do you do if a deal falls apart or a listing cancels on you? And this is something I recently deployed from the Tony Robbins, directly from his workshop. I give myself 90 seconds. 90 seconds to feel pissed off, disappointed, angry, worried. 90 seconds. And I time myself. And after 90 seconds, I change my state. And as you guys remember, during the workshop, we changed different things. But there are things you can do. Play music, jump up and down, go for a walk, pet your cat, kiss your kids, call your mom. You can list of 15, 20 different things, then instantly change your state. Change your physiology, how you breathe, how you stand, how you speak. Sing along. I play a lot of loud music here. I have my own little studio where I make some cool music that I like to make, or I play rock and roll, you know, that kind of stuff. Whatever it takes to shift your state quickly. Use your physiology to change how you feel. That's my first step. The second step is I look at the event. Like if a listing cancels on you, I look at it and I go, all right, not that this is fun, but shit happens. Is there something I can do right now to fix the situation? What would be the ideal outcome, and can I control it? Can I do something about it? Is it within my power right now to do something that would get me a different outcome, that would help the client, that would help the situation? Can I remedy it? Or do I have somebody or something available as a resource that would help me? Can somebody else, like your broker, step in, another agent, an experienced agent, the other agent on the other side, if it's a deal that's fallen apart? who can step in and help? Can we put our heads together and make it work somehow? Is it salvageable? Because if it's not salvageable, why in the world would you obsess over it? If there is complete, and there are situations that are completely out of your control. So if that's the case, there's only third step you're going to do, and that is, can I do something about this in the future? Are there things or lessons I can pick up from this? Can I qualify a seller better? That was one of the things. I had few listings cancel me. Like, what the fuck? I thought these people were motivated. I thought these people wanted to sell. I am a rock star. Ow, I learned that from Tony Robbins. Doesn't work for me as well as that for him. Why would they cancel on me? God damn it. You know what I mean? The lesson from that I learned is I need to spend more time qualifying them. I need to spend more time really digging deep. What is their core driving emotion? Not just the surface reason to move. Why are they doing it in the first place? Do they understand what they're getting themselves into? Are they committed to it? Are they realistic? Are they either excited or in a lot of pain? Because that creates motivation. And what I've discovered was that very often I didn't want to hear or I didn't want to see the signs that they may not be that motivated. You know why? Because my mindset was a mindset of scarcity. I believe, well, there are not enough listings. I better take this one. I better hold on to it real tight. I better get this one done, and I will push them and force them if I have to. Have you ever done that? We all have. It's normal. So what I realized is I need to make two changes. First, my mindset. There's fucking plenty of business. There are hundreds of homes in my area being listed and sold every day. I can get a piece of that. All I need is one a day. Now, there are days I got it. There are days I didn't. But you follow what I'm saying? So first was my mindset. The second thing was I need to spend a little more time with the client. Because my first word was, well, they get annoyed. I ask them too many questions. They're going to list with somebody else. Shift the mindset, just like a doctor asks a lot of questions. An attorney takes pages and pages of notes before they take on your case. A dentist will look at your x-rays, does an exam, all that. I had to take a different approach. And what I discovered was, instead of them being pushed away by my questions, they were more attracted, because finally here was an agent who didn't try to sell them by doing a lot of talking, who asked a question and listened. And suddenly the relationship I had with my clients was stronger. There was more trust. And you know, I'd rather spend 20 minutes qualifying the client in a very honest, open conversation. And at the end of the 20 minutes, we shake hands and I'd say, I don't think I'm the right match. I don't think you guys, for you to move is not the best thing to do right now. I could keep in touch. We can revisit this 6 months from now. But what you just told me right now of selling is just not the best move for you. And they would love me for it. And maybe 6 months later they would list, maybe not. But you know how much hassle and time and money and effort and focus and energy I saved them and myself? Tons. Tons, because at the end, I'd rather do it in 20 minutes than go through the entire process, bring them a good offer, and then they start stalling when the reality kicks in. You've had that happen. So those are some of the things, when things go sideways on you, look at it and say, can I do something better in the future? Is there something about this that when it happens again, I can either prevent it or I can fix it, and I can look at it from a different point of view? Because I guarantee you, behind every drama, every fallen deal, every stress, every blow up, there is at least one good lesson. And if nothing else, the lesson is, how fast can you get up, dust yourself off, and go at it again? Because there are rock stars and there are average agents. And you know the difference? They both get knocked down. They both make mistakes. They both lose deals. They both lose listings. They both are discouraged. They both get punched in the face by life, by clients, by other agents, by backstabbing, by all kinds of shit. So it's not that the rock stars don't get hit. It's not that the rock stars don't suffer. It's not that the rock stars have it easy. They don't. There's only one difference. Would you like to know what it is? The rock stars get up a lot faster. They bounce back a lot faster. And it is a skill. It's like a muscle. You know, I've been working out lately. I hired my man George. My man George is crushing it. Yesterday we did biceps. Holy cow, I had a hard time washing my hair this morning. But it's like a muscle. You hit that situation the first time and there's a lot of resistance, there's a lot of drama going on. Next time it's a little easier and a little easier, just like with the muscle. It's going to get a little better, a little easier, and a little stronger. That's how you build strength. But the muscle needs to break down first to grow stronger. Same thing here. You're going to get knocked down. you're going to get disappointed. Clients will lie to you. The other agents will be assholes. There'll be a mortgage lender who's going to be an incompetent idiot. This is just part of business. Not just this business, any business. You got to do your best, but one of the best qualities you can develop is your ability to bounce back. To look at the picture of your family. I have them right here as my reminder. And very often I remind myself, especially when things don't go well, I look at that picture and I say, okay, I can now whine, I can complain, I can get angry, I can waste time and energy on something I cannot fix. Or I look at my family and says, you guys matter to me a whole lot. You matter to me a lot more than poor me licking my wounds, feeling sorry for myself. Let's get going. Let's get back on track. Because in the larger scheme of things, one deal doesn't matter, one client doesn't matter, one situation doesn't matter. What matters is your ability to say, you guys, I'm doing this for me, and I'm doing it for you, and I'm building this phenomenal lifestyle, and one little bump on the road, because they all are really just bumps. If you can get back up, if you didn't die in the process, you can get back up, and you will. You're going to be stronger, you're going to be faster, you're going to be more agile, you're going to be smarter, and you're going to get better. Because very often, it's exactly these punches we take that make us kind of wake up and go, what the fuck? Ooh, I don't want to do that again. Good lessons. Good lessons in life. Just like riding a bike. You know, when my kids were learning how to ride a bike, there were a few, oh shit, fall down. Oh, my knee hurts. We need to learn through that. Sometimes it's good to observe, but there are certain things you cannot just observe. You need to be in there. You need to be in the grind. And it is exactly this ability to be in the grind and to say, all right, let's dust ourselves off. Ow. Let's get going again. If you're capable of doing that and get your victory, then looking back at those falls feels pretty damn good. That feels pretty damn good. It's just like climbing that mountain. It's hard. It's difficult. You scrape yourself. You're hurting. You may bang yourself. But when you get to the top, you look down and he says, that was worth it. Look what I accomplished. See what you do, what you guys do, what you guys are capable of. In spite of what you hear in the media and online, what you read on these forums, it is still a people business and it is hard. Being a good, successful real estate agent is not easy. I'm not here to blow smoke up your ass. I'm not here to pretend, oh, it's going to be all roses and peaches and it's going to be lovely. No, it's hard. But it's also extremely rewarding for several reasons. You're helping people with something really big and really important. That's number one. And number two, you're doing something that 99.9% of the people cannot do. What you can do, what you're willing to do, to put up with rejection, to prospect every day, to run your own business, to be on your own where you don't have any safety net of a payroll or a paycheck or health insurance, any of that. Living your life and running your business on your terms is a big deal. You are the movers and the shakers, and you are a big deal, and you matter a lot because it's a small group. People like you with integrity, with honesty, with sincere desire to help people and get rich in the process. Very small group. There are a lot of people who think so. There are a lot of people who talk the talk. They don't walk the walk that you do. And you know how I know that? You got the scars to prove it. You got the battle stories to share around the campfire. Not to complain and whine, poor me, pity me, but to say, look what I've accomplished. Look what I've overcome. That's why I have so much respect and appreciation for you guys. And that's why I'm willing to spend my Saturday, instead of being with my kids who are riding their skateboards outside right now, to be here with you, to share a little bit of a wisdom, to give you some inspiration, to push you a little further and a little harder, because very often it's this little nudge that will get you going in the right direction. Next thing you know, you're posting your success stories, helping people, listing properties, making money, having a good life. How about that? All right. Well, thank you for all the love. I appreciate that, guys. All right. So Chad is saying, I am working with a potential seller. It's a tough property to do a CMA on, so I recommended that they get an appraisal done before listing. My CMA came at $850. However, two other agents are also trying to get the listing and have told the seller their property is worth $1.2 million, $1.3 million, obviously way over. Appraisal came back this week and I know it will be less than $900. The seller just told me that they probably won't go with me as their other agent said their home is worth more. What should I do? Chad, that's a fantastic question. And I very much appreciate you asking it. So let me tell you what the real problem is, Chad. And it is this. It is not about the price. The real issue is not the price. The sellers may tell you, we're going to go with Joe instead of you because Joe told us he's going to get us 100,000 more. So a couple of things, let me analyze that first. First, let's do what's called a reverse. Reverse perspective. Put yourself in the seller's perspective. They probably never sold a house, or it's been a really long time. They probably read all kinds of mixed messages and reviews and comments and advice online. A lot of it is shit. A lot of it isn't worth anything. They're nervous. They're scared. They're entering an industry that doesn't have a whole lot of trust. We just, unfortunately, us real estate folks don't have a whole lot of trust out there. So they're not happy, excited, optimistic. They're skeptical, fearful, nervous, and uncertain. Yeah? Most sellers feel that way. Would you agree with that? That's usually the state they're in. And then they hear all this advice from their neighbors and their uncle and their friends and their coworkers. And it's sometimes this, sometimes that. One's that, one that, and it's all over the place. So now they have this confusion going on in their head. They have all these fears. Now they have to be moving, packing, all that stuff, plus the pricing of the property. It is the biggest asset they own. There's a lot of money in it that they either put in or they bought or whatever. And now two people come in. One tells them you walk away with 800,000, and the other one tells them you walk away with 900,000. Put yourself in a position of an average person. Which one would you choose? See, from their perspective, they're making a logical, rational decision. Think about it. Wouldn't you rather get 900 if you could? Wouldn't you rather walk away with more cash? Now, I understand what you're saying, the appraisal and your CMA, but here's where the problem is. The real issue is not the price. It is not about the price, because you already know the seller doesn't set the price. Seller has no control over the price. Just like you have no control over the price. Just like the appraiser has no control over the price. Who controls the price? Only two parts. The buyer and the bank. That's it. The buyer has to say, I'm willing to pay this much. And the bank says, yeah, we're willing to lend that much. That's it. But it's the buyer who sets the final price. The seller can negotiate. The seller can say no. But it's going to be at the end what the buyer's willing to pay will determine the sales price of the property. Not the value. We're not talking value. We're talking sales price. Meaning, what is the buyer willing to pay? And that's X amount of dollars. So, if the seller doesn't set the price, if you don't set the price, the real issue is one word. And that's trust. Trust. That's the real issue. Right there. T-R-U-S-T. Trust. So here's what I mean by that. You have two agents, John and Chad. Just as an example, I'm making it up. John says 900, Chad says 800. They like the 900. But if we switch the dynamic, what if the seller doesn't trust John? What if the seller feels like John wants the listing rather than helping us or setting the price that will cause it to sell? What if the seller trusts more Chad than John? Who would they list with? It is not about the price. It is about trust. See, if they don't trust John and trust you, if they respect your opinion, if they like you, trust you, and respect you, they will understand that the price is not an issue. That's what I teach you. Half of the Listing Presentation Plus course is about how to get that psychological connection developed authentically or organically instead of through sales, which very often requires influence and pressure. Because you need to develop their organic connection in order for them to understand. We don't set the price. The price is set by the market, by the buyer, and it can be determined. Where agents get stuck is they want the listing more than to price it right. In other words, they're willing to bend and they're flexible. They're insecure. They're not confident enough in their communication and in their opinion. Think about it this way, Chad. You walk into a listing presentation, you have a lot of trust, you did the pre-framing, which is part of the Presentation Plus process, you did all those steps, so they like you, they trust you, and respect you. Primo. You go in, and through the position of authority and credibility, you simply communicate, look, we don't control the price, I know you want a certain amount of dollars, But the price will be determined by the buyer being willing to pay a certain price. And we're not talking about the value of a home. We're talking about what it's going to sell for. That may be two different things. In your mind, in your opinion, it may be worth $5 million. Just like my necklace, in my mind, may be worth $1 million. But we're talking about resale value here. That means we're talking about property, not a home. And a property just means walls, windows, a roof. Once you move out, it's just going to be an empty space. It's not going to be a home. And it's a commodity that has a certain price tag. That will be determined first by the buyer and then confirmed by the bank. So we need to figure out what that number is. So let me show you the process. See, I believe, and this happens most of the time non-verbally, agents who are not 100% certain what that price needs to be send that signal of weakness or uncertainty to the seller, and the seller picks up on it, which I am almost 100% sure somewhere along the line happened here, Chad. And not just to you, to everybody, including me, trust me. They pick up on it. They pick up that you're not 100% confident what that number has to be. You, as an expert, need to be just as sure as the appraiser. That's why you make $10, $50, I mean, on an $800,000 property, you're going to make what? $15,000, $20,000. For that amount of money, I would expect a certain level of expertise, and part of the expertise needs to be how much the property is going to sell for. And if it's hard to get comps, you need to get creative, you need to figure out, but through research and experience, and it's half science, half art, you need to know what is the most a buyer would be willing to pay. And you need to communicate it with certainty, because imagine you go to a doctor, using that analogy, and something is not right. You're having these headaches. And it's a serious problem, God forbid. And the doctor says, well, you know, given the x-rays and the tests we did, the best thing we should do is do a surgery. We can remove it, it's curable, it's fine. And you freak out and you say, no, I don't want a surgery. I'd rather take aspirin. And the doctor says, okay, you can take aspirin, that's fine. That's not the kind of doctor I want. I want a doctor to tell me the fucking truth, be an expert, be certain what the problem is, and be certain how to fix it. The reason a seller picks another agent is every single time because they like them, trusted them, and respected them more than you. End of story. They will justify it by commissions. They will justify it by price. They will justify it with all kinds of stories. But at the end, it is always the same. They like, trust, and respect another agent. That's it. So somewhere along the line, it got derailed. The trust got broken. The respect was not there, and they didn't like you as much as the other agent. Now, is it possible the other agent is lying? It's sure possible. But the other agent was better at building trust, likability, and respect. It's really that simple. And if we had the time to analyze, let's say we video recorded your listing presentation and your communication with the seller, and the other agent's communication and listing presentation with the seller, we could pinpoint exactly where it happens, where the like, trust, and respect happens, and when it falls apart. It's not that hard to detect. You do it all day long. You get a phone call, you pick up the phone, and after 10 seconds you realize it's a telemarketer reciting a script. You want to get off that phone, as opposed to talking to your friend. It's the same thing. We react same thing because we're wired the same way. This is not a matter of sales skill. This is a matter of psychology, neurobiology, how we react. Does this all make sense to you guys? So what do you do now? Is it salvageable? Maybe. But where you're going to get stuck is you're going to now try to bring a bunch of papers or a bunch of slides and try to convince the seller. Now, guess what's going to happen? You're going to start pushing and you're going to push back. You're going to start pushing and they're going to push back. There'll be a lot of resistance. That's not going to happen. It's not going to help. Convincing is going to do the opposite. It's going to create a barrier, a resistance, a fear. So rather than doing that, build more trust, build more respect, build more connection, build more authentic relationship with the seller where they can be honest with you. And you can be honest with them because you're not there now. The fact that they're telling you they're choosing another agent is a clear indicator we don't like you, trust you, and respect you as much as the other agent. Because if they didn't like, trust, and respect the other agent, they sure as hell would not list with them, regardless of the price. Nobody would do that. So don't buy into the price issue. You got to fix the way you pre-frame yourself as a high-status expert advisor, which is what we teach in PATH and we teach in Listing Presentation Plus. That's step one. And step two is building authentic connection where you understand the seller completely, you understand their core driving emotion, you understand their intensity, you understand their problem that they're trying to solve. And you have a very authentic, real relationship with them where they feel 100% comfortable and confident that they can tell you the truth, which is not happening right now. Yes? Was that helpful? All right, chat says, let me show you. Chat says, Borino, very helpful. I think you pinpointed the exact for me. This did say they still want to use me, but buy their new home, so I know that they do trust me on a certain level. Chat, you know what I would do? I tell you what I would do. It is still salvageable, possibly. I would not get too attached to it, because if you get too attached, it creates too much intensity, and that's not a good thing. Passionate, yes, but intense, no, no bueno. So what I would do is grab a cup of Starbucks, stop by Starbucks, get a cup of coffee, two, whatever, if it's a husband and wife. Stop by the house and have a very honest, very no-agenda, open talk with them. And chat with them. Not as a needy, desperate agent who needs a listing, but more as a counselor, as a friend, who is there just to advise them. Because I would sit down with the seller and says, look, maybe the other agent is a better choice for you, but maybe not. And I just feel like you guys are super nice and super cool. I don't want you to make a mistake. That's it. And whether it's me or somebody else, as long as the house sells for the most money and as long as you're in good hands, whoever that person is, will be up to you. So let's have a quick 10-minute chat. And during that conversation, I would say very little. I would just ask a few questions. And I would set conditions and circumstances. And hear me on this. This is important. Listen. I would set conditions and circumstances where the truth could be told without repercussions, where they wouldn't feel they would offend you or they owe you something or they feel guilty and they try to hide it by being polite. I would tell them, let's be perfectly honest, whether I list the property or not, doesn't matter. There are plenty of sellers out there, only one me, it's all good. But I like you guys. And if I can help, I would love to. So can we explore it for the next 10 minutes? I just have a couple of questions. You probably have a question for me as well. And have a talk with them. And don't be attached at all. And don't mention price. Don't bring comps. Don't worry about that. That is not the issue. It's the connection and trust that needs to be established first. And it needs to be solid. It needs to be better and stronger than with the other agent. And that goes for all of you guys. When you get a seller who says, we're ready, let's talk, you need to start pre-framing immediately. Because what you want is by the time you meet the seller to list the property, they need to have a solid opinion about you, that they can like you, trust you, and respect you, and that you're their best choice. And all can be done without manipulation, without being arrogant, without being aggressive, none of that. You know I hate that shit. You don't need to sell them on anything. This has nothing to do with how many years you've been in the business and how many homes you sold. Those are just the external factors. But they don't establish credibility or trust. Does that make sense? So give it a shot, Chad. I would. I mean, at this point, you have nothing to lose. Just, if nothing else, use this as an exercise of knowing what didn't work in the past, and you can troubleshoot it. Because you can. This is nothing but a set of skills. I tell you this, guys, almost every broadcast, right? I don't have any special powers or special skills. Other than this devilishly handsome look, that's all I got. You know what I mean? I don't. But I figured out a couple of things. One of them is I didn't want to be a salesman. I didn't want to close people. I didn't want to recite scripts to them. I hated that shit. So when I went to that real estate seminar, I'm not going to name any names, but you know the guy. I'm like, really? This is what I'm going to do? Oh, I hated that. So I wanted to take a different approach. Where can I be connected with them, position myself as the authority, but without the manipulation and control. I mean, I do have control, and I like to be in control because, after all, it's my job to get the transaction done. But I need to do it at the price of my relationship with the people, and more importantly, with myself. Where I would feel shitty, where I would come home and say, oh, fuck, that was a hard day. You know? Busy is one thing. Productive is one thing. But being a shitty salesman, either needy, low status, like me, give me those ass cheeks, let me kiss some ass more. Or, you know, being aggressive, pounding them over the head. I don't want to do any of that. And you don't have to. So what I learned is what makes people tick. What is it when somebody says, I like you, Chad? You're cool. I want to do business with you. What is that? Can it be orchestrated? But can it be done in an authentic, organic way, rather than salesy, used car salesman, manipulative way? And the answer is yes. That's what I learned, just a few steps. And that's what I teach you in Core Influence. That's what I teach you in The Path. That's what I teach you in Presentation Plus. What I discovered and how simple steps you can do, a few questions you need to ask. Now, yes, it requires some practice and requires some competence. You got to be a good agent. If you're a shitty agent, forget it. It's not going to work. But even being a good agent is just a set of steps where you know the market, you understand the paperwork, you know how to get a listing sold. People can trust you. You can get a good job for them. All right. So I hope that was helpful, my friends. Yeah? Patrick has a question. My man Patrick, real estate rockstar from Las Vegas, Nevada. Do you have any suggestion on dealing with a seller that talks the whole fucking time to the point that it takes you out of your presentation? Great question, Patrick. I've had people like that, and it drives you nuts, right? Or you're prospecting out there, and you meet this old lady, and they're yep. So let me show you how I address it. Sometimes lending, okay, let me start here. If listening for 2 hours, somebody who needs a friendly ear is not just the best method to get the listing, but to be a kind human being, break the rule and listen. Get a cup of coffee and just sit there and listen. Because I've had sellers, and very often old folks, who kind of get shut out by this busy, noisy world of Instagrams and iPhones and all that. And even though I tell you, 30-minute listing presentation, get out of there, don't talk too much, sometimes breaking the rule is the right thing to do. Because I want you to be rock stars, I want you to be high-status experts, I want you to be successful and productive, but I also want you to be kind human beings. An occasional gesture of kindness, just by listening and having a conversation, is the right way. Now, you can't violate this all the time, and you can't do it all the time, because then you'll turn into a social worker. But you get my point. The second thing I want to give you is, do what it takes to get the listing. And again, if it means to sit there for a couple hours and listen, if you feel like that's really the only way to get it, do it. Help the client. Because someone like you, Patrick, you're one of the best high-status agents with the most integrity I know. And I would trust you with any of my properties. I would trust you with anything. You have 100% of my trust. You know the market. You know how to get the job done. You're out there hustling. You're working. You have high integrity. You're honest. All the qualities that an agent has. So they're in good hands with you. Now, on the opposite of that, if you just keep doing that, then yes, you can spend 6 hours a day listening to people, which is not very productive, and at the end your bank account would suffer. So here's what I would do. Here's how I would pre-frame it and set it up. Before a listing appointment, as I go through the dialogue and you get with the presentation class and with the path, the questionnaire, it's a 3-page questionnaire, you just go through it. Simple questions, builds more connection, more trust, and gives you a lot of insight, not just in the situation, the selling situation, but the seller's psychology. In there, one of the things I say, I'm looking forward to meeting you tomorrow. We're going to meet here in my office at 4:45. We're going to spend about 30 minutes together. Now, I do it for 2 reasons. One is I remove that fear that so many sellers have, many through experience, where the other agent sits there for 2 hours, blah, 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 my company, blah, 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 my experience, blah, 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 my marketing, and so I go, fascinating. You know what I mean? So I remove that. It's called a time constraint. And it's a nice little technique that puts them at ease. It'll be all over in half an hour. There'll be no long, boring sales pitches. So that's one. Second, I reinforce it when the seller comes to my office for a presentation or when you go there. Now, I prefer if you see the property, bring him to the office because that will create more urgency as well. But if you go there, same thing. It's really great. I'm glad you're here. I was so looking forward to chatting with you. I have all the information. My assistant knows all the paperwork. If we decide to work together, we're about half an hour to go everything. I'll answer your questions. You'll be out of here by 5:15 or whatever time. So I pre-frame it during my pre-interview. Then before the actual presentation, I set it up saying we have about half an hour. You'll be out of here in 30 minutes, by 5:15. So now they have 2 reinforcements of that. The third thing I do, if they do get on the rant, is you need to do a simple pattern interrupt. Simple way, because what very often happens, people start talking a lot for a couple of reasons. One of them is fear. And this is not something they process consciously. This is very often a subconscious reaction. Has that ever happened to you, been on a presentation, especially when you were new, do you remember? And suddenly you catch yourself like, oh shit, I'm talking so much. You know, I used to have one of those little pocket recorders, and back then they had cassettes in them, remember those? And I would record my presentation, I would run out of fucking tape. That's how much I talked. It was horrible. And I didn't even know it. We do that, we start talking too much often, sometimes for the need to connect and to tell a story, to be heard, which is one of the most basic needs people have, is the sense of significance by being heard. But the second thing is people do it because they're nervous. And selling a house creates stress, tension, pressure. So they get in this state. They're afraid. They sit in front of a salesperson who's going to close them. And their subconscious triggers this verbal vomit, so to speak. They start yap, talking away. So there are several techniques you can deploy, simple pattern interrupts that will snap them out of that state, that help. They're more powerful if you can use a combination. And it can be something as simple as saying, Patrick, before we go any further, sorry, can I get you a cup of water, glass of water? Would you like a cup of tea? Or I take a sip of cup of tea and I touch them gently. Now I do three things at the same time. I break the eye contact, get my tea, and I just gently tap them. I would say, uh-huh. See what I'm doing? These little, and there are a dozen others you can do. To interrupt their pattern. Make sense? So experiment with it. This doesn't need to be obvious. I don't recommend doing this, because that would be considered in many cultures rude, ignorant, and inappropriate. But there are other things you can do to snap them out of that state. Okay? You control the presentation. A lot of it is your mindset. See, needy, low-status, nervous agent who's desperate for a listing would let the seller waste 2 hours and just talk. Seller has the control. Not a good setting, not a good dynamic. The seller is there because they have a problem, you have the solution. The moment they take over the presentation, they start asking questions or talking too much, you relinquish that control. That should never happen. You should stay in control. Yes, they answer your questions. Yes, they talk, but you control where the conversation or the presentation is going. And if you frequently lose that control, it's several reasons. One, you're afraid you're not going to get the listing. Two, in your mind, you're not present. You don't feel confident enough. Two, lack of experience. Three, lack of practice. You need to practice more. You need to get really good at this shit. Because I tell you that after a while, all these experiences will amass so much experience where you will simply know exactly how to interrupt their pattern, get the presentation back on track, you be in control. It is like when you get in a cab, you understand that one person will be driving, you're the passenger. As opposed to when you get in your car, you're the driver, and the rest is the passengers. Two people cannot drive at the same time. Same with your listing presentation. Only one person, you, needs to drive. It's really that simple. And again, I'm not talking about being arrogant. I'm not talking about being salesy. I'm talking about simple interaction you have with your doctor or your accountant or your attorney or any high-status professional where you pay big bucks for their time. You got to be the same way. You also need to value your time. You also need to understand that you got to be moving, you got to be busy, and you don't depend on one client. And if they're stalling, many times it's just a fear. And a good question to ask is, notice what I did. This is another pattern interrupt. And I do these, and many times I do it already automatically, subconsciously, to get your attention. Notice how I did that? These are all very simple pattern interrupts that snap you out of your zone state and bring you back. Or I say things like, now. That's another pattern interrupt, bringing you back to reality, now, bringing you to now. So what you can do is ask another question. By asking questions, you relinquish the control, you take back the control. Because the human brain cannot focus on what I want to say and thinking about the answer to a question at the same time. It's impossible. They can choose not to answer, but their brain has to register the question and subconsciously look for an answer. So just fire off another question. Okay? Those are some of the things you can do. There's more, but even if you just do this, you're going to get control back. High status, you're driving. Because at the end, think about it this way. They hire you. They're there, either in your office or you sitting with them at their home. Because they want you to drive. They want you to help them. What they're looking for is evidence that you're the right person. So one of the questions I would ask is, let's say you're my seller, Patrick, and I would ask, Patrick, question for you. Selling a house, it can be challenging. You know, I work with nice folks like you all day long, every day. What scares you the most about selling? What makes you nervous? Can you share with me one or two things that you feel like maybe the biggest potential problems as far as selling and moving? I'll let them answer. And then the second question I was asked, is there anything, any reason you can think of why you wouldn't sell that would hold you back? Is there anything you feel like is in the way? I want them to open up about the real worries that trigger that kind of behavior, the real concerns. Because what I want to distinguish is this just an old person who is happy to have somebody who wants to hear their World War II story, which happened to me, 82nd Airborne veteran, or, among many, or are they afraid? Is it a fear-triggered behavior that I need to address? Because if there is something that really scares them, maybe they're aware of it, maybe they're not. Maybe they know what it is, maybe they need to dig a little. But I want to get it out of the way now, rather than when the offer is on the table and they say, no, 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 not enough. Make sense? So I hope that was helpful, my friend. So this was good. Gwen is cracking up. Good. Is listing presentation part of your PATH program? Natalie wants to know. The answer is yes, Natalie. Yes, you get all of my programs, including the latest one we just finished called Referrals Plus. How to connect with your sphere, with your friends and neighbors without annoying them, without pushing them away, and still get a lot of business. And that one, by the way, is only available if you're on the PATH. You cannot buy it anywhere else. So yeah, all my programs are part of it. Besides, any new program I will ever create, any update I will ever put together, as long as you're my PATH students, you get all of it. Everything, including sessions with me. We have these fun group sessions. We have video calls. We have all kinds of stuff going on to help you, to get you on track and make sure you stay on track. So go check it out. GoBorino.com. Would love to have you, Natalie. Damien says, good stuff. Well, let me show you. Damien says, good stuff, Borino. I'm not making this shit up. You guys do. Thanks for the motivation. My pleasure. All right. Exactly what I needed to hear. Thank you. I will follow your advice and let you know how it goes. Yes, Chad, let us know. That'd be great to know. How do you handle chat situation where the seller is in another city, no FaceTime available, there is not tech savvy enough for video chat? Good question, Lee. I would just call them. Do the best you can in what you have. Do your best. If getting them on the phone is the best you can do, get them on the phone, have a little conversation with them, see if you can help them, see if you can probe what's going on. Sometimes you can, sometimes you cannot. Sometimes it's possible, sometimes not. That's the reality. You're not going to get them all. Don't beat yourself up too much over those you lose. You're going to lose some. I have rock stars. I have students. My man Derek took 11 listings last month. Crushed it. Great month. I have students like Mike Putnam. Great guy, great agent. Over 100 homes sold last year. Crushing it. Mike Cribbin, another Mike. Awesome agent. Mike's going to do what, about 100 deals this year? Total rock stars. Making a lot of money. Hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions. They still lose listings. They still lose clients. They still overprice the sucker once in a while. They still occasionally say the wrong thing. Don't beat yourself up too much. Just do your best. Do the best you can in what you have. That's really the motto. And then once you know better, you're going to do better. But it's a process. So if you have a client out of the city, too far to drive, get them on the phone if you can. Send them an email if you can. Do your best. But here's what I encourage you to do. Don't ever get stuck on just one client, one deal, one listing, one prospect, one situation. Never. Do your best in that situation. Give it your total attention, your absolute focus, your 100% passion. But never make that the only one where the life ends if I don't get this listing. Life doesn't end. Life goes on. There will be plenty of other opportunities. Mindset again. What we started with, we're going to end with. Mindset of plenty, of abundance, of tons of nice people who want you, who need your help, who are looking for you. You just need to jump through a few hoops to get to them, to break the barriers, to build the contact, build a connection, to win them over, to connect with them, to understand them, to hear them, and then to help them. Make sense? That's your job. And there's plenty of them out there. Plenty, plenty. Check the latest in our stats. I checked last about a month ago. And the projected number for this year is 5.4 million homes sold. Think about that. 5.4 million transactions in this year. You know how much business there is all around you? Tons. But Borino, there are other agents and blah, blah, bullshit. You're a good agent. You got this. I believe in you very often more than you believe in yourself. So drop that scarcity mentality. Just stay focused. Do your best. Get better, get better, get better, get better. All right? Cool. So we talked about that. Meeting her in 3 hours. Good. You know what to do, Patrick. Nick says, great stuff, brother. Thank you. How do I sign up for your coaching? Would love to have you, Nick. The URL is GoBorino, one word, .com. GoBorino.com. There's a little video that explains the path, all the programs you're going to get, all there. $197 a month. Easy breezy. Monthly. No long-term commitments. If you want to stay a month, great. If you want to stay a year, awesome. How long? Whatever it takes to get you to at least one listing a week. Then the mission accomplished. There's a calendar you're going to get when we have the coaching sessions. We have a private group here on Facebook. Really awesome. Tons of great posts there. Tons of inspiration. Answered questions. Vision boards. All kinds of cool stuff. We'd love to have you. GoBorino.com. Go check it out. Oh, there you go. Thanks. Thanks, Ken. Appreciate it. Dominic has a comment. Coach, I have been faithful disciple of your methods for nearly 2 years, and they have served me very well. Since the beginning of the year, it seems that the market is moving so fast that I'm not making it through the process with FSBOs and expireds. They seem to sell or relist before I have the opportunity to work through the trust cycle. What is missing? Is there a way to speed up the trust cycle? That is a fantastic question. Yes, there is, Dominic. There is. And I appreciate you, and I understand what you're saying. Here's what I evaluate first. What has changed in your mindset? What has caused you to believe that there is not enough for you or you cannot make the money you want to make? Because the real answer is not in the mechanics or in a better marketing or more aggressive approach. The real answer is back to mindset. So here's what I encourage you to do. You're on the path with me, Dominic, right? If you're not, please do come on board. Here's what I encourage you to do. Pick up the Path book again, the first book, The Path, and go through the exercises again. And just surrender to not what you wrote down a month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago. Go through the exercises and discover something new. Because I assure you, if you feel this shift, like I was making the money, now I'm not. I was getting the client, now I'm not. If you believe that the shift is out there, it is the market, it is the sellers, it is the economy, you're looking in the wrong direction. It is the consequence, it is not the cause. The reason is here. And I very much appreciate what you're saying, and I totally understand it. But let's not fix that. We'll fix that. We'll fix the marketing approach, but let's fix the mindset first. And it is not unusual for someone to be a rock star, close a lot of deals, make a lot of money, be on track, and then suddenly something gets derailed. And it can be a series of deals that fell apart, some experience or something. I wouldn't spend too much time trying to analyze why it's broken. Because you can spend a lot of time feeding energy and just attracting more of that shit. Because that's what's happening right now. You say, well, I can't get all the FSBOs. And you start accepting that as a belief. Then you collect enough evidence, you can't get enough FSBOs, you reinforce that belief, which triggers more of that experience, which triggers more of that belief, and now you're in this loop. Does that make sense? It is your beliefs, your focus, and your expectations. They're governing your income, the level of clients you have, the number of deals you close. Whether you trust it or not, believe it or not, understand it or not, none of that matters. That's how it works. So I encourage you, just have a little open mind. Get a glass of wine tonight. Chill for an hour or two. Get the book. Be uninterrupted. Go through the exercises, see what you can discover. Because the first book of The Path, and it's about 85, 90 pages. You breeze through it very quickly. But a lot of the questions and exercises I put there purposely is one, to discover what beliefs and focus and expectations govern your income and lifestyle right now, and more importantly, how we can shift it to the level where you want to be. So do that. Step 2, I don't know if you've done it yet or not, Dominic, is do the vision board. Do the vision board in the process I shared with you. You know, that coaching session that's linked in chapter 1 of the path is how to have a good functioning vision board that will inspire you, empower you, that will give you enough fuel and passion. And I so appreciate you being my student and working through this for the 2 years. Yes, we can tweak, and we will tweak the mechanics of your approach, because I'm sure there's some things we can do better. But we need to reinforce this foundation first. Does that make sense? So, after you're done with that, do it again. Even if you did it recently, go through the exercises again, put yourself in a different state again, and then start working on 7-day goals, simple goals. We talked about in our last Q&A of the path. 7 days, what do I want to accomplish? You cannot directly control how many listings you're going to take, so don't overthink that part. What I want you to focus on is the activities. The 3 most productive things you can accomplish every day that will get you closer to your goals. You can still get FSBOs, you can still get expireds. Here's how I know that, Dominic. Number 1, you're a great agent. You already proven that. That's beyond doubt. You won the awards, right? You've been recognized. You help a bunch of people. So what shifted is not the market. What shifted is you. Something has shifted. Now, on the mindset level, and then that triggered something in your approach or in your marketing or in your behavior. Set simple agenda. I want to talk to 2 for sale by owners daily, just 2 conversations a day. Because I assure you, at the end, they're going to list with somebody. The expireds you talk to, some of them will go back on the market with a new agent. The for sale by owners, some sell on their own. Nothing you can do about that. But some will get an agent. According to FSBO, 70% list with an agent. And these boys track like 90,000 for sale by owners, so they have plenty of data. So why not you? And more importantly, that's not even the best question, is how can I find enough clients to satisfy my plan to reach a certain lifestyle? And then we'll work the plan. What does it take? How many attempts? How many conversations? How much marketing? How frequently? We're going to put all that together. But the mindset is the first one. Yeah? All right, my friends. Thanks, Borino. Working from a place of abundance, thanks to Path, totally changed my mindset. That's just 1 of 4 potential listings I found in my CRM. Good for you, my man. That's awesome. Daisy has a question, Borino. Just to clarify, pricing for the Path can be monthly for only $197. Yeah, I know. It's hard to believe, right? That's all it is. It's $197 for now. I need to be honest and transparent with you guys. That is an introductory price because we just launched it, what, less than 2 months ago? 2 months ago, about. So the price will go up. But for now, it's $197. And once you are on the $197, whether we're going to push it to $297, $397, we'll see, you will stay. It will not change for you. And same thing, if I get updates, if we're going to put together updates for any of the programs, you will get it free. New programs I will release, you will get it free. All that. Yeah? So yeah, do come aboard. I really like the program. All right, Sandra says 2 months ago. So yeah, we've been on for 2 months. My laptop fried in the hailstorm. I'm a Path student. Where do I go access this? I went to the path.com listing university, but can't seem to have login. Sandra, if you have any technical issues, any troubles, just shoot Roseanne in my office a quick email. Her email is, or our email, office email is info@borinoproductions.com. Good way to get hold of us. If you have questions, need something, you can call our 800 line Monday through Friday. It's 800-573-8492. Or you can shoot us a quick email. So if you have any trouble, we'll of course help you out. We'll set you up. Sorry about your laptop, but we'll get you up and running quickly. All right, my friends. Thanks for being here today. I did wanted to chat with you because I was gone, and now we have a spring break. So the familia and I are going for a few days to enjoy ourselves. You know, I haven't seen the kids for a long time, so I'm craving their love and fun and attention. So we won't be doing live next Tuesday, but then we're back on the schedule. Every Tuesday. I wish you a fantastic, productive weekend. If you're working, work your ass off. Go get them. There are plenty of people out there who need your help. Find them. Help them. Be persistent about it. Don't take shit from life, other agents, clients, anyone. You're in control. You're a rock star. If you choose to enjoy yourself, if you choose to chill, which is what we're going to do this afternoon, hang out with the kids, play a little, and then we're taking good friends out to dinner tonight, do that. But whatever you do, do it with so much passion. Do it full on. 100%. All right? Thank you, my friends. I hope this Saturday was lovely for you as it was for me. I enjoyed doing these so much. I was really looking forward to chatting with you. This is why I set up this special time. And I'll talk to you all in less than 2 weeks.